please give the concluding remarks based on the 4 sessions that we had for today's workshop. Sir.
Good evening to all, and enthusiasm with which you are clapping. I wonder whether this was for speaking or concluding. So the message from students is very loud and clear, but it is a unceremonious responsibility given to me to put all such intense sessions in a nutshell. I'll start with Dr. Santosh Kumar, who very beautifully portrayed the role of young volunteers in a humanitarian crisis, and how from Buddha's story and anecdote he derived that bringing a smile on the faces of people should be the motive. He also brought Mullah Nasruddin's story by telling that it is a giving which is more important. So I think I salute your pedagogy, that how you bring the storytelling in between to make it more interesting and beat the challenges of post-lunch session by your interesting, and also how the readiness of systems and individual, as well as his quote on agreeing to disagree. So that is a basic premise of any democratic society, and we must invite that. Professor Abbas Ostad Tagizada, he narrated how the dimensions of disaster DRR framework pre-COVID were more dominated by fatalism, engineering, and social approaches, while post-disaster has brought the health dimension also into the discourse, and that the social determinants of disaster and social impact of disaster are the important elements of this framework. And he portrayed that poverty, health, social capital, social security, employment, and social well-being are important social determinants, and social justice is an important social determinant. It's often missing from the discourse and debate on DRR. And also he, dwelled upon the definition of social justice and various dimensions of, social justice from the rights perspective, from the resource distributions, and from the consequences in all phases of DRM, how it is important. Dr. Shaheen Ansari had very nicely made us, learn many things. So very participatory and interesting pedagogy that about the child rights, about how the Child Right Convention India was leading in ratifying that, and the country he made us all get surprised about the one country which did not sign it. So how the prejudice and biases work in our mind is also reflected. Even I was thinking it may be Pakistan, Afghanistan, something, and none of us had guessed that it could be US. So sometimes our mind also gets prejudiced. Similarly, he has also spoken about the child rights, important child rights of survival, protection, development, and participation. I hope I'm not missing any of that. And Education Act of 2009, and as well as National Education Policy of 2020, how the age criteria are differing and what are the logic and rationale behind this, change in this thing. And he has dwelled beyond that how the child human rights are very important. And I think we had a very interesting session, recorded session from Ipsita on the disaster as an opportunity for opportunists, and she mainly dwelled upon the three broad elements. One was the human trafficking dimension. She gave a very elaborate context to it. Second was the gender-based violence. And she gave examples from the Latin America, from Mexico, from Colombia, from Brazil and Haiti earthquake. Similarly, law enforcement, data collection, police records, and disaster management plans, they are lacking into the gender dimension and how it can be integrated into that. She also spoke about child abuse, vulnerability, physical and psychological vulnerability of children due to the lack of capability to cope up and dependency on parents, and how the not only violence outside the house, but inside the house also. And one very interesting fact for all male to be happy about is that at least fathers are less, violent with their children. So, but I think we have to also go more deeper. Maybe fathers are less at home to cause that violence. So this may not be intrinsically that they are very non-violent. So I think we require more research and data to see that why this difference is. Thank you very much for this.
Thanks a lot, sir, for summarizing the entire session into the key points that we also noted, and you summarized it so well for us. I would like to extend the vote of thanks, the last part of the session. I would like to thank the Executive Director, sir, Shri Rajarathu, for taking time out for us, accepting our invitation, chairing the session, and giving us his thoughtful and rich inputs on the subject. Thanks a lot, sir. To Director IGMR, Delhi, Dr. Sutapa, for raising the occasion and being a motivating leader for all of us. Dr. Santosh, sir, my mentor, senior advisor in NIDM, for taking time out and being the subject matter expert and showing us the way from forward to ethical management even in the crisis situation. Dr. Shaheen Ansari, the child rights specialist, for his expert opinions and advice, and how vividly and in a rich manner, in a simple manner, he explained child rights to all of us, intricacies related to child rights specifically. To the online speakers, Dr. Abbas, for sharing the Iran experience, which we never knew until we read his story. And Ms. Ikshita Shi for participation and sharing the valuable inputs from across the America and Latin America side and the UK US side, the valuable experiences that she brings to us from being a spinal cord injured nursing, pediatric nursing expert. To the faculty members, support staff, and especially the students who are listening to it very patiently, participating to it, and waiting to interact with sir. If I can just cut down your questions from 5 to 2. Only 2 main questions, you can decide which you want to ask right here. Before we proceed for team, anybody wants to ask something from sir, his experience, his learning?
But I didn't want to violate your human rights.
So he has been really...
There's something called habeas corpus, that is for keeping the people captivated forcibly. So that is again a human right. So maybe that this session can be overseen or it can be voluntary.
Right, and in case if sir agrees, I understand that he is accepting our second invitation to be with us and discuss with our students with no faculty around, specifically about disaster management and his rich experience, so that we learn as public health managers how disaster management can be intertwined into public health so well that, you talk in the same language as the administrators understand and as the recipient of the care understand. So thank you so much for this opportunity, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, faculty members. Thank you, students. Thank you, experts.